Welcome back to Carneades.org. Today we're going to be continuing with our series, Dumbfounding Definitions, Dizzying Distinctions, and Diabolical Doctrines, a series sorting through some of the jargon of philosophy. In this video, we're going to be answering the question, what is value theory? Now, as with many terms in philosophy, depending on who you're talking to and what context it's being used, value theory can actually mean a variety of different things. Most commonly, it's used to kind of subdivide out one of the 4 or 5 big areas of philosophy. But it can also mean the study of which things have value and how much value they have, which can also be referred to as axiology when you're separating it out kind of from that big category of value theory. Or it can mean the study of which things have value, so including axiology, and also what kind of thing value is in comparison with other ethical categories like good or right, also referred to as the theory of value. So there's kind of 3 things that can be referred to as value theory. Traditionally, value theory, that kind of big philosophical category, axiology, and the theory of value. In this video, we're going to delve a little bit deeper into each of those categories. So, first off, in the broadest sense, and perhaps the most common, the phrase value theory applies to the large area of philosophy, which includes ethics, metaethics, and applied ethics, but also things like aesthetics, the study of philosophy of art, political philosophy, social philosophy, sometimes even feminist philosophy, parts of philosophy of religion end up in there, because all of these areas of philosophy are tied together by possessing kind of a normative or evaluative aspect. Simply put, how things should or should not be. You should do this in politics and social welfare, in art, to be good, to be bad, things like that. That is generally what binds together these things in the category of value theory, along with things like metaphysics and epistemology and logic in the history of philosophy. This is one of the biggest areas of philosophy. However, in a more restrictive sense, and in fact probably the most restrictive sense you'll hear it, value theory can also refer to something known as axiology. Axiology is the study of which objects, conceived of both in terms of kind of physical objects, but also psychological states or states of the world, are good and to what degree they are good. Axiology is often closely associated with types of consequentialism because we're not assessing necessarily actions for their goodness, we're assessing states of the world for their goodness, and it's associated with consequentialism because consequentialism judges acts based on the consequences or the state of the world that they create. In order to determine if an act has good consequences, we need to determine which states of the world are good to have and which ones are not. Therefore, axiology might be considered kind of a subheading under consequentialism, but it also might be considered a subheading under the theory of value. And this is kind of somewhere in between these two definitions because it's larger and more expansive than axiology, but it's definitely not as large as kind of the value theory in the very general sense. And this is also referred to as the theory of value. So the theory of value includes both the study of axiology as well as kind of meta questions about what value is and the connections between value and other concepts in ethics. This is something of a different way to kind of parse the distinctions in ethical theory between meta-ethics and normative ethics, but can offer insight to the connection between these two areas of study because the theory of value is going to kind of take a different approach in looking at what is good and what is valuable, and can often bridge some of those gaps between ethical and meta-ethical theory. If you don't know that distinction, check out my video on the subject. Some of the questions that are delved into in the theory of value are questions like, what makes something valuable? Can objects be intrinsically valuable, or are they only valuable because they can be used to do something? Is there one fundamental thing that makes others valuable, or are there many different values that particular objects can have? What do you think? Write your answers in the comments below and watch this video and more here at Carneades.org, and stay skeptical, everybody.